Chapter 6. Bottom of the World. As Stingray continued her voyage to the South Pole, Atlanta looked up from a book she found in the standby lounge.
Hey, listen to this, Troy.
Don't tell me you found a joke book from our navigation library.
I'd have thought this was a joke a few days ago, Troy, but now I'm not so sure. Listen. In the United States in the early 19th century, there was a popular belief that the Earth was hollow and habitable, and that the point of entry to this underworld was somewhere in the Antarctic. The chief advocate for this strange notion, Jeremiah N. Reynolds, was so convincing in his arguments that no less than 20 bills were introduced in Congress, proposing that a Navy expedition should sail into the globe's interior and plant the American flag there.
Well, what do you know? How crazy can folk get? Sailing into a hole in the Antarctic and...
Troy!
Sure, Atlanta. I get your point. That's just about what we're aiming to do, I guess. Anything more about it in that book?
No, the bills never got through, of course. Most of the guys in Congress thought Reynolds was crazy, but it's certainly food for thought.
Ahoy there, pack ice ahead. Guess this is it, Troy. Solid ice as far as the scanner's range.
All clear topside?
Sure, there's ice floating around, floes, I guess, but we're in an open area.
Okay, we'll go up and have a look around. Blow 1.
Blow 1.
Blow 2.
Blow 2. As Stingray slowly surfaced, they all peered eagerly out. About a quarter of a mile ahead of them was the jagged edge of the ice barrier. In parts it was wafer thin, but in others several feet thick. Its surface was crowded with penguins, thousands of them. The ice stretched away to blue-white cliffs, and beyond them, towering through low, fleecy clouds, were the black and white streaked peaks of gigantic mountains. All around them, at a safe distance, were ice floes. Some miles astern, silhouetted against the low red sun, a massive flat-topped iceberg was heading north in the grip of the current whose course they had followed to this dead white land. Look at the spectators.
I feel like a liner entering a harbor.
Oh, maybe I ought to set her free to join them.
I'm no expert, but I reckon it would be kinder to keep her. They'll either smother her with kindness or drive her away, and there is an odds-on chance of a skua or a sea leopard getting her for dinner.
Where do we go from here, Troy?
From the look of those mountains, we're not so far from the mainland. The sea ice can't be wide here. We'll submerge and proceed under the ice. Report to Marineville. Destination reached.
Stingray calling Marineville Base. Stingray calling Marineville Base. Can you hear me, Marineville? That's funny. Must be too near the magnetic pole.
Can't you tune out that white noise?
I'm trying, Skipper. Stingray calling Marineville. Stingray calling Marineville. Come in, Marineville. This is Stingray.
Marineville calling Stingray. Come in, Stingray.
Got him.
Captain Tempest reporting to Control Tower.
Control Tower to Tempest. Hold on, Captain. Commander Shore wants to speak to you first.
What's the matter?
You hear that? They were cut off dead, just as if someone switched the radio off.
That's funny.
You don't suppose anything could have happened if Marineville had been suddenly attacked and...
We'd still get some contact, Atlanta. You ought to know that. The emergency red would come through automatically to warn all patrol craft.
It's completely dead. I'm not even getting static.
So it can't be one of those radio blackouts they sometimes get at the poles because of magnetic interference.
And it can't be the circuit, Troy. Everything is registering okay. A faulty component would have been bypassed automatically.
All the same, we'd better make a piece-by-piece check, phones. Even autocontrols can slip up sometimes.
Okay. Marina and Atlanta amused themselves by watching the weird antics of the penguins massed on the ice sheet through binoculars, while Troy and Phones stripped down the radio bank.
Oh boy, this isn't right.
It's no use, Troy. Everything's okay, but the radio's as dead as a doornail. I've never come up against anything like this before. It's just as though we're blanketed.
Blanketed? You mean someone's deliberately cut us off from base?
You suggest a better explanation? Hey, Marina has something.
What's that, Marina? She reckons this is Titan's doing.
It doesn't sound like Titan to me. He likes to snoop up on us, and if he wanted to stop us contacting headquarters, he'd jam us. This is something different, Troy. Just as though we've been screened.
A force field?
Maybe. Titan hasn't got the know-how to throw a force screen round us at this range. Even Marineville couldn't do it.
But remember what Father said, Phones? Titan might have alerted Terrorfish, already operating down here.
We'll try the sonar phone. Stand by to submerge.
Since Marineville electronic experts had perfected a means of sending radio waves through water, which normally distorts electromagnetic transmission, WASP patrols had abandoned the use of the hydrophone for long-distance communication because of the long time lag. But sound transmission was only effective at below 20 fathoms because of surface disturbances and reflections. At 200 feet, Phones sent out a call sign repeatedly. It seems okay. No interference. What?
What happened?
The last signal bounced right back at me, Troy, from 100 feet.
So now they've put a sonic screen around us as well.
Yeah, whoever they are.
Stand by. If their power range is limited, maybe we can lose the force field. Acceleration rate 6, Phones.
Hold it, Troy. If we're sound blocked, we can't use the scanners for navigation. At that speed, we might hit submerged ice before we saw it.
Guess you're right. Okay, we'll surface and make the run there.
On the surface, Troy turned Stingray and sent it surging away from the ice barrier. Slowly at first, in case the strange force screen had the power to hold them. Finding there was no obstruction, he stepped up the acceleration gradually to maximum surface speed. But 100 miles out, the force field still seemed to be with them, nullifying Phones' constant efforts to make radio contact with the outer world. Grimly, the captain sent the super sub hurtling to all points of the compass, seeking in vain to escape from that invisible electronic net that screened them.
Just a waste of fuel.
We're just like a fish being played at the end of a line. I sure don't like it, Troy.
I'm not exactly doubled up with laughter. We've got to get through to headquarters somehow. But I don't see how, unless we keep on heading north on the surface until we're free to transmit. I sure don't like running away.
If we can't use our own radio, why not try another one?
Now that's a real good idea. Just hang on while I pop along to the store in the corner and buy another one.
I'm serious, Troy. Why, there must be dozens of meteorological stations and other scientific posts dotted all over the ICECAP.
Atlanta, you've hit it. Let's have a look at the charts of this sector, Phones.
Stand by. Here's the chart.
There's a weather station west by south of here, 50 miles inland as the crow flies.
But we're not crows, and that's way beyond the range of the monocopters, even if we could use them without freezing solid.
What about the snowjet?
Yes, you're the brains of this outfit, Atlanta. That ice sheet looks pretty level. By skirting that mountain ridge over there, I reckon I could make the station in an hour or so.
I was forgetting the snowjet. But suppose that force field's solid enough to stop anything leaving Stingray.
We won't know until we try, Phones. But I'll need an observer. There'll be plenty to look out for. Fissures and ice humps.
Phones ought to stay with Stingray, and this is no trip for Marina. Guess that just leaves me. Come on, Troy. It's another chance to wear those winter woolies.
The snowjet was a development of the snowcats of the polar explorers and the freight sledge trains of the far north. It was powered by a small atomic motor, similar to Stingray's, And instead of caterpillar tracks, it had sledge runners, which could carry it over smooth ice at anything up to 100 miles an hour. Hoverjets could be brought into use to negotiate lumps and low ridges, and booster units enabled it to leapfrog even wide clefts. It was standard equipment on polar patrols for use in emergencies, such as a vessel becoming icebound. Stingray was maneuvered close to an ice bank, a few feet high, and the hatch gangway was run out. Troy slowly eased the snow jet across the gangway, half expecting to meet with some resistance, but there was none, and he ran the vehicle out onto the ice. Although the air-conditioned cabin of the vehicle was heated, Troy and Atlanta put on full polar equipment. In the Antarctic, still untamed after 200 years of exploration and scientific investigation, it was madness to take the slightest gamble. If the snow jet broke down, they would have to struggle back on foot.
Watch it, Troy. Blizzards can blow up mighty fast down here.
I'll keep in touch, pal. Well, we're on our way. Guess what I just said to phones was pretty pointless since the radios aren't working.
Look, Troy. Look at Stingray.
Troy glanced back at the super sub. It was standing off some distance from the edge of the ice. There was always the danger of a heavy floe breaking away and damaging the vessel. In the clear, cold air, he could plainly see what looked like a faint, shimmering, transparent curtain enveloping Stingray.
Guess that's the force screen. I wonder if our short-range radio is affected.
It does work. At least it's not dead.
Yeah. Let's see if we can reach phones. Snowjet to Stingray, Snowjet to Stingray. Come in, phones. Phones? This is Snowjet. Do you read me? Come in, old buddy. No good. I'd feel happier about this if I knew who was doing it. But if Titan isn't, who in the name of Neptune is?
The going wasn't as easy as Troy had anticipated. The snowjet behaved well on the level sea ice, but when they reached the mainland, the frozen snow was arched and furrowed like the sands of a desert. He had to cut the speed to a crawl and made frequent use of the hoverjets. More than once, they were almost into a chasm before they saw it just in time to leapfrog over. It was over an hour before they reached the end of the ridge, and Troy calculated they had as far again to travel before they sighted the weather station. What if they found it was an automatically controlled station which taped its observations to transmit them to a central collating station 1,000 miles or more away?
Look up there, past the mountains.
We're getting submerged in those dark clouds.
They look full of snow to me, Troy.
Sure do, but we must be halfway there now. It would be crazy to turn back.
But as they turned the end of the ridge and headed almost due south, steering by the compass, the wind came howling at them across the bottom of the world. The fine powder of the frozen snow ahead of them was being whipped up into whirling white devils that reduced visibility to a few yards in a matter of seconds. The snowjet gave a violent lurch and heeled over as it charged a big hummock which appeared suddenly out of the white fog. Only Troy's lightning application of the hoverjet control saved them. And then the snow came. Huge driving flakes that plastered the cabin windows faster than the heaters and wipers could clear them. The snowjet vibrated under the tremendous power that nature had unleashed against it.
It's no good, Troy. We can't go on.
Guess not. Now I know why we still haven't tamed the Antarctic. A whole squadron of snowjets wouldn't make much progress in a blizzard on terrain like this.
If we stop here, we'll be buried.
I'll maneuver to the lee of that ridge over there.
Twice, sudden thrusts of the 100-mile-an-hour gale nearly overturned the struggling vehicle. Once the motor stopped, and Troy thought the driving snow had blocked the jets. But it recovered, and at last he swung the vehicle round behind the ridge. Here, where the backdraft had scoured the snow from the black rock, it was comparatively calm. Troy cut the motor, and they sat there, listening to the roar of the wind about their sanctuary.
This isn't our day. Maybe we shouldn't have left Stingray. We must have got clear of that force screen sooner or later if we'd kept on heading north.
How can you be sure of that, Troy? Besides, it would have been like quitting.
Guess so. And wasps never quit. No, we should have pushed on under the ice.
Without scanners to navigate with?
The very first subs didn't have scanners, Atlanta. If your pa had been in our place, that's what he'd have done. Hey.
What's the matter, Troy?
Something moving out there.
She swung and peered through the window in the direction he was pointing, but all she could see were monochromatic patches of the ridge wall and the swirling snow beyond.
What does it look like, Troy?
Just like a human figure. Uncanny.
But nobody could keep on their feet in a blizzard like this.
Maybe, but I'm certain I saw something moving out there. It couldn't have been an animal. There aren't any like it in Antarctica.
It must have been an illusion. The swirling snow played a trick on your eyes.
Or maybe there's an abominable snowman like they're supposed to be in the Himalayas.
You're trying to make a joke of it, but I know better.
2 hours later, the blizzard was still raging, and the snow was beginning to build up at the end of the ridge, threatening to pen them in. The snow jet had a plow, but Troy knew there were limits to what it could shift. They drank scalding coffee from the flasks, and now and then, to relieve the tedium, Troy tried to make radio contact with Stingray or with the weather station they had been trying to reach, but without success. Luckily, the heater did not fail them, although at times the thermostatic control seemed to be tardy in operating, and the intense cold began to seep through the tough shell of the cabin. Maybe it was the strain of looking continually at the whirling snow, but Troy found it difficult to keep his eyes open after a time.
You fall asleep?
Too many late nights at base.
Found myself nodding off there for a second. I shouldn't have dragged you into this, honey.
You dragged me. It was my own crazy idea, wasn't it? I suggested the weather station.
After a while, her auburn hair drooped again, and then she slumped forward over the control bank and fell asleep. Troy blinked open his tired eyes. It wouldn't do for both of them to sleep. If the heater failed or something went wrong with the air conditioning. He blinked again, stiffening as he stared from the window.
Was that something moving out there in the snow again? Must be imagining it.
He jerked upright. Something was moving out there. The window was frosting up. He pressed the de-icer button, and jets of hot vapor cleared it temporarily. He leaned forward, peering out. And then a pale violet beam stabbed from the snow curtain and struck him in the face, blinding him. He tried to call back, but found he was powerless to move. He tried to call Atlanta, but no sound came from his lips. A dark cloud descended on his mind, and as he whirled down into oblivion, it seemed that a strange voice was calling to him from down a long, echoing tunnel.